Hello? Your Health is Calling, where holistic health meets practical solutions for your well-being. With your host, speaker, New York Times bestselling author, Sue Kostyk, a seasoned holistic health practitioner and longevity coach. Join Sue each week to embark on a journey to uncover the root causes of your health concerns. Through a personalized approach, learn how to decode the messages your body is sending and craft natural protocols to address them. Call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A.
Good morning and welcome to Hello, Your Health is Calling. I'm Sue Kostyk. I am an integrative health practitioner. And what does that mean? That means we get to the root cause of the symptoms that you're having and figure things out with natural means and making sure that those symptoms go away and never come back. And we use a lot of natural methods. We do functional lab testing. So we're on, what is it? 6 days until Christmas, 7 days till Hanukkah, 7 days till Kwanzaa. We are in the thick of it. And, last week we talked about stress throughout the holidays and, different things that cause us stress. And I pretty much got all those just from different books that I read and articles that I've read. And I gave you some ideas about how to manage that. So we are on YouTube at the Reinvented Life network. And so you can find all of these. I think there's 30 of them now. So, if you want to kind of catch up on them, go there, like and subscribe. That always helps you to keep up to date on what we're talking about. But stress, I talk about stress so much, and because it really is one of the number one things that we're never going to get away from, but the more we learn about it and the more we learn about the effects on our body and our immune system, and then how to manage it, when we do come across those things. And, the holidays, they just tend to bring it. They really do. So after last week's podcast, I had some interesting, comments and suggestions and just some things. And so I decided to poll some people about their experience with stress over the holiday season. And so today's podcast, we're going to talk about the top 10 things that came across as what people who listen to me and who follow me were talking about, what they're finding the most that causes them the stress during this holiday season. So we're gonna go with that when we start in again, and we'll be talking about 10 things that people commonly find stressful over the holidays. And of course, I'm going to give you some solutions, so I'm never going to leave you without a way out, so to speak. So we are going to go to a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to dive into the top 10 stressors and what we can do about them. So stay with me.
Hello, your health is calling. Feeling bloated, low on energy, dealing with hormone imbalances? Integrative health coach Sue Kostyk is here to assist you. Reach out to Sue for practical health solutions guided by her professional training as a holistic coach. Sue specializes in identifying the underlying causes of health issues and restoring balance. Don't let your health concerns impact your well-being. Contact Sue Kostyk today at 917-362-5176 or via email at sue@symmetryhealthandwellness.com and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you.
You've been watching Hello, Your Health is Calling. Join me as we dive into the realms of longevity, nutrition, stress management, and toxin removal, all without the use of harsh pharmaceuticals. And now, back to the show.
Welcome back. So as I said before our break, we are in the thick of the holidays and stress and people and, it's so funny. I always talk about people. Because when we are in a very stressful situation, it seems like the people, right? And so, so I said earlier, I polled people, and these aren't really in any order of, the top 10 in order of how they came in. These are just like the top 10 that came in. And one of them, of course, is always going to be the family dynamic and the people that we surround ourselves with. Holidays seem to be the time that we have maybe some family members or some friends that we don't typically have in our lives consistently that we do get around. And, there's differing traditions, there's expectations, there's always the political views, right? And we are actually sometimes spending extended time with family. So it seems that, the family dynamics is one of those things that we do suffer with and suffer through during the holidays. And, I say the word suffer, but I feel like, if we can just perhaps set some boundaries with family and friends during the holidays, then we can manage that one stressor in our life. And sometimes that boundary you might feel uncomfortable with. So, seek out some guidance, talk to a trusted friend or family member and see, if your stress is maybe an expectation that you've set on yourself or something that's being put on you. Overcommitment. There's parties, there's dinners, there's luncheons, there's gift giving, there's white elephants. There's so much that's going on during this time. And, if you're like me, I want to say yes to everything and just get in there and do it all. And that just takes its toll. And there are some times where you need to just be mindful and, listen to yourself. And if you have, taken on too much, then maybe it's time to, sit back and reassess the priorities. And, we do take on extra responsibility, especially if you're a parent. If you're busy, if you're working, and you want to make sure that you're attending things for your kids or your spouse, your partner, and we do tend to overcommit ourselves. And honestly, if you think about it, the expectation is put on ourselves. I honestly think that we really expect way too much out of our little human beings. So, and we're not giving ourselves any time to recharge. So, making sure that you're not overcommitting is one of the things that people had mentioned. There's financial things that go on. There's so many times where we put ourselves under financial pressure. And it's one of those things that I think that even statistics, I didn't even have to go to a poll. This is probably one of the number one things that came across was the financial pressure of buying gifts, of, making that perfect holiday meal, traveling, making sure we have the perfect decorations up. And, the expectation we put on ourselves, sometimes that's driven by guilt. And, I am probably one of the number one people that put that guilt on myself, that parental guilt, or even that social guilt of wanting to make sure that, everything is perfect. And as an example, so we live in a neighborhood that goes all out 1,000% on home decorations. There's like hay rides that go through our neighborhood. There's buses that go, limos that go through our neighborhood to see the lights. And we live on a corner. And so my husband puts that pressure on himself to make sure that our house is, right up there with the Joneses, because we're on a very highly traveled street and he wants to make sure that our house is looking beautiful for the people who come and look at the lights in our neighborhood. So while that is a fun expectation, it's also one of those things that can put an added stress on you if you are trying to keep up with the Joneses and don't have the time to do it, or don't have the financial um, wherewithal to do something like that. So, in time management, you know, everybody has 24 hours in a day, and we're trying to balance our work, the holiday prep, our social obligations, deadlines, work, family, and that time management becomes extremely important. And so, you know, when you think about the holidays and what they truly mean to you, um, maybe starting out in the beginning of the season with the priorities that you really truly want to accomplish during the holiday season, and making sure that you stick to those priorities instead of just trying to do it all. So, time management, family dynamics, loneliness. You know, a lot of people are very lonely during the holiday season. And if you come from a large family that always has a lot of people around you during the holidays, you may not be able to to really be empathetic to this. But there are so many people that feel isolated. They're away from family and friends. Um, we we love to look at social media and see the lives of other people and living within their 5-second snapshot of life and comparing. So, if you are one of those people that do feel loneliness or isolation, I would highly recommend not comparing yourself to what other people are doing, because everybody has their own thing. And even though, especially on social media, you're seeing, the beautiful decorations and the families and friends and the clinking of the glasses and, all these things, just please understand that that is literally a 5-second snapshot of someone's life. It is not anywhere near what their life looks like in completion. So, um, if you do have a lot of family and friends around, and you're blessed that way, then maybe be on the lookout for, I call them the orphans for the holidays that don't really have family around them, and invite them over. I guarantee you that will just make them feel wonderful, and it'll make you feel wonderful too. So sharing what you have. And again, high expectations. We put that expectation on ourselves, don't we? We put the pressure on ourselves to create the perfect holiday. We set unrealistic standards for gifts, meals, decor, all of the above, and it ends up stressing us out. Like I said, I mean, I'm preaching to myself, because I'm probably one of the number one offenders for high expectations. Because number one, I love the holiday season. It's one of my favorite seasons of the year, and I started traditions for my family. I have 4 daughters. And as they were growing up, I started all these traditions, and decorating and cookies and different types of meals and things. And they love it. They really truly do. And they're grown. And when they come home, if they're home for the holidays, they want to experience that again. But it's really an expectation that I put on myself. I truly believe that my children would come home for the holidays, even if I didn't, you know, over decorate, or make sure that there's plenty of frosted cookies that are, perfectly frosted. So, the high expectations, we got to get rid of those. Travel. Let's talk about travel. Um, the challenges with traveling over the holidays, if you're one of those that is traveling, God bless you. I always make it a rule not to personally travel on the holidays. I'd love to have everybody come to me, but that's very selfish, because I know what it's like out there. And the airports, the delays, if you're on the road, the traffic, then you're coordinating with, hey, Aunt, can you go pick up Grandma? And, trying to coordinate with others to make sure that everybody's in the right place at the right time. It's so challenging. And I can't get away with not talking about health and wellness, right? So, our health and wellness during the holidays, it is a stressor. It's something that's probably self-imposed because in November I did a series on our immune system over the holidays because we really aren't in cold and flu season. We are in inflammation sugar season. So, despite that, there are people who are just unwell over the holidays, so that's adding stress because you're not feeling well and you want to make it fun and happy for everybody and your family members. During the holidays our sleep is disrupted. We don't have our routine. We're going to parties, we're indulging, which I am not telling you not to indulge, but expect the aftermath. There is going to be aftermath when we do indulge in food and alcohol and late nights and all that. So, um, you know, making sure that your immune system is as high as it possibly can be during the holidays is one of the really important things. And if you have any questions about any of these or have comments or would love some suggestions, please email me at support@helloyourhealthiscalling.com and we can get together, or you can go back and replay any of these YouTubes. Again, if you will like and subscribe to the Reinvented Life Network, Hello, Your Health is Calling, you'll be getting notifications for all of these and won't miss them. So our health and wellness is super important. And I know that our family members want us well, especially those of us who are in the thick of it. So taking care of yourself, making sure you're prioritizing your sleep, trying to get some healthy stuff in there, that's always going to be helpful. So, there are people who are going through grief and loss through the holidays. It's life. It's something that we're never going to get away from. And people are feeling the absence of loved ones. Maybe there's some changes in family structures. Um, you know, if you are personally going through this, then be kind to yourself and give yourself grace through the holidays. It may not be the same kind of holiday that you've always had, but it's okay because next year is going to be another time where it'll maybe be a little bit different. I know that grief and loss, I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like not to have your parents around for the holidays anymore. But again, sometimes just giving yourself the grace to get through it and not put that expectation on that you have to make it just like it is every single year. I mean, let yourself feel that. And there are people who have that seasonal affective disorder, especially on the East Coast, especially in the upper Midwest, the northern Midwest, where the days are super short. It's cold. You're not getting that sunlight or sunshine like you normally do. There is, it's a thing. SAD is definitely a thing. And so, again, if you're not feeling well, and you feel like you're struggling with some of these things, then, you know, give yourself some grace again. Give yourself the grace to get through it. If you can get out in fresh air, even though the sun's not out, you're getting fresh air. You're helping yourself to just connect with nature. It's going to help this, especially. And again, prioritizing sleep. I know it's hard during the holidays, but prioritizing sleep is going to be extremely helpful, especially if you're feeling some of those things. So, we've as we've gone through this, I've talked a little bit about what you can do, and some of the things that I just want to just highlight again. As you're going through all of these stressors, just remember to set realistic expectations. Um, We are our own worst enemy when it comes to expectations. And so, if you can just list your priorities and what you'd like to accomplish, get it down on paper. I talk about journaling a lot. And, there's something about getting something out of your mind or your heart onto paper that really helps. And if you have a problem with setting too high of expectations, then I really challenge you to journal about it. Figure out why that expectation has been set so high, and maybe just set out your priorities, list them. Just list your priorities. And that's going to just help it get out of your brain. Um, you know, Instead of focusing on all the activities, figure out what's meaningful to you. Um, you don't have to do it all. I mean, if you want to and you have the wherewithal to, and you're healthy to, then do it all. But if you don't, then focus on what's truly meaningful for you. And I have some people tell me, well, I just don't have any traditions, so I just feel like I have to do it all. Well, that might be time for you to create a tradition or two for yourself or your family. Um, just get them together and figure out what's important, what's meaningful. If you are in a financial situation, make a budget and stick to it. Budgets are, if people think that budgets are so negative, but it's really a good tool. Even if you have a lot of money, even if money is not an issue for you, you kind of want to know where your money's going. And so if you create a budget, then you know where your money's going, you know what you have left over, you know where you can spend things or where you can be generous with. So creating a budget is just really putting money down on paper. It's not saying that you don't have enough money, so you have to figure all this out. And be mindful with your spending. Um, I love presents. I love to give presents. I love to have a ton of presents under the tree. But what I found is the number of presents does not matter. It's what they are. And I've come to learn over the years that, yes, people love to open things, but if it doesn't make sense to them, then it's not worth it. Even if it's even if it's from the dollar store, which is what now, the $1.25 store. So even if it's a dollar store thing that you're just wrapping up so that they have something under the tree, sometimes people want your time. And so if your budget is tight, then a gift of your time is always very meaningful. And you could just throw together a coupon for your time. I'll take you shopping. I'll take you for a cup of coffee. Coupon books. I know that, you get coupons books as a mom. I got a bunch of them when my kids were little. But it shows mindfulness and it shows caring. So when you are thinking about all those presents under the tree, or all those Hanukkah gifts, or wherever you're exchanging gifts, it really doesn't even apply to just the holidays. Make sure that it's something mindful, that the person that you're giving the gift to is going to understand that you've thought about them. Prioritizing sleep, I talk about it all the time. You need downtime and you need exercise. So when you're going through this busy, stressful holiday season and your cortisol levels are so high that you feel like you're going to jump out of your skin all the time, that is a great signal that you need some downtime. And I talk about this all the time. You guys are probably over it. But when you sleep, that's when your body repairs. And if your body doesn't have the chance to repair, it's going to rob Peter to pay Paul until it can't anymore. So if you are not prioritizing sleep, then your body is going to run down. And that's also when we get our flu and colds too. So, a rundown body is going to get sick because it just doesn't have the energy to do what it needs to do. And exercise does not necessarily mean going to the gym every day. It just means to move your body. And if you go for walks If you are not physically fit, then don't start going to the gym for an hour a day. Start by walking. Just start by moving. Get your 10,000 steps a day. And you could even do just some body weight exercises. There's always, I think it started in November. There's plank challenges, hold a plank for, your goal should be a minute. And, do some of those kind of things. And those are actually going to help relax you. It's going to help make you feel better, and it will help you sleep at night. So there you go. You've got them all wrapped up into one. And, if you have family situations, if you have situations where you need to set a boundary, then communicate that boundary. Don't think that someone is going to understand your boundary if you don't communicate it with them. And do it in a loving manner. Even if it's a difficult person, remember, they need love too, especially in the holidays. And if you are feeling grief and loss, get some support. Call a friend, a community person, your church, anywhere that you can get some support while you're going through this. I talked in November, I did a whole podcast on gratitude. And counting your blessings is a huge one during the holidays, especially if you're feeling like, maybe you don't have too much to be grateful. If you start counting your blessings, the most minimal one that you can possibly find, it will make you feel better. And volunteering your time, there's soup kitchens, there's so many different organizations that adopt families for the holidays, bake some cookies and give them out to neighbors. Those are a lot of things that are going to counteract all of that cortisol that's being created in your body over the stress that you're feeling. So the whole goal is to not let the stress linger. The whole goal is to understand these stressors are here. They're not going anywhere. But how do you manage them, and how do you keep your stress level managed so that you're not living in this high cortisol situation all the time that's going to start robbing from your hormone production and making your digestive system all out of whack, and then you're going to all of a sudden fall apart and have a disease. So we're coming to the end of our time, so I just want to let you know how you can reach me. So there's several ways. Email me, support@helloyourhealthiscalling.com. My phone number, you can text me, my email. Just go to YouTube at Hello Your Health is Calling and watch some of the past podcasts. And my website is symmetryhealthandwellness.com. And there is actually a calendar, and you can book a free session with me off of that. So, let's remember that our health is not a hobby. Good health should become a habit. And it's especially during the holidays, we want to remain healthy and happy and not be coming down with those colds and flus. And probably the number one thing you can do is manage your stress. So thank you for joining. Your health is not a hobby. We need to make these habits stick in our life. So if your health is calling, please answer it. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for tuning in to another empowering episode of Hello, Your Health is Calling with Sue Kostyk. Remember, your health journey is ongoing, and we're here to support you every step of the way. If you have any questions, insights, or stories to share, don't hesitate to reach out. You can connect with us on social media or call in live at 888-994-4995 Studio A. Together, we're transforming lives and embracing holistic well-being. Until next time, prioritize your health, and remember, your health is calling.